Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I'm Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll eventually get to the Kansas City Royals bounce back from the league's cellar to now being in contention in the division again in a very short amount of time. We'll update the NBA and NHL playoffs. Talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs offseason news. But we'll begin today with the Kentucky Derby. There was a kind of an eventful race with lots of uh, pretty interesting storylines actually across this race. Like, what to you did you find most intriguing about the race? Was it the distant come from behind victory by Golden Tempo from like last to first? The fact that the first and second place the first and second place finishers were the jockeys were related. The first female trainer now to win the Kentucky Derby, or something else, Mike. What did you find most interesting about this race?
I guess it was the way the race was won and run by Golden Temple, who was a big 23 to 1 underdog. So it was a big long odds for him to win. But yeah, a lot of interesting things that you said. The jockeys being brothers of the first and second place team. Renegade was the one of the favorites who finished second. Ridden by Irad Ortiz, and his brother Jose Ortiz won on Golden Tempo. So that's got to be fun to have your be top two as brothers running as jockeys. But yeah, I think maybe more notably we have Cherie DeVoe, who became the first female trainer of a Kentucky Derby winner and only the second ever woman to be a Triple Crown winner, which is a little strange. You would think that I guess you wouldn't think that horse training is really a male or a female uh, pursuit, but apparently, I guess it's
Yeah,
probably a male dominated thing for a
maybe the
long time.
training is. I
Yeah.
think like horse ownership is has gone like there are a lot of female owners. I think at this point
hmm Or co-owners, at
of
least.
horses.
A
I
lot
don't know
of times it's
about
married
racing
couples,
horses.
or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, it was also the top rated in terms of viewership Kentucky Derby, I think since 1988, at least since they started uh, measuring the TV ratings for the Derby. So a lot of streaming people on Peacock, which is what I have. I didn't end up watching the race. I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I didn't end up
Hmm.
watching the race. But I just followed it afterward. I made a couple of bets on the Kentucky Derby because my daughter was interested. But I lost all my bets. I made like four individual horse bets, and none of them won. And one of them was a scratch before even the Puma scratched right before the race started. So I was already out $2. I made four $2 bets, and I lost all four um, of them.
No golden tempo. That was not
That was not one of the ones that he
one
was
of the
not one of the
ones.
ones I picked. Yeah. Um,
When you bet on horses though, do you go just like the simple bet, just bet on one horse to win, or do you make the whole like more complicated like trifectas and stuff like that?
I did four individual bets and four individual horses to win. Where I would, if one of those horses ended up winning, I would have won money if any of the
Taking the
horses.
losses on the others.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the longest or the shortest odds was I think one I had was an 8 to 1 horse, and then I had a
Yeah.
few 20 and 30 to 1 shots. I was reading just a little bit about it, but yeah, none of them
Yeah.
ended up winning. I did not bet on Golden Tempo. Um, but yeah, Golden Tempo paid $48.24 to win. So if I had just vote, yeah, that would have been a lot. Uh,
That would have been a good return for
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was interesting race. We'll see what happens with the Preakness. Hopefully, Golden Tempo runs in the Preakness because I think it's always good to have a Triple Crown possibility, at least go as far
Yeah.
as possible, at least have that in the Preakness because because it's so dependent on the Kentucky Derby. Um, I'm sure it's its own thing, but like um it's a much bigger race when the Kentucky Derby winner is in the race.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
for at least for the for laymen like us, especially.
what's a reason for the non horse racing experts to try to care about the race or be drawn into it the closer it
Mhm.
gets to the potential Triple Crown winner. But then, for a long time, for like most of our lives, there wasn't a Triple Crown winner until relatively recently. So it was kind of just like a thing that everybody talked about, but like never happened. So it's like even then
Yeah,
it was hard. It was kind of hard to get into it.
yeah, we've had I guess two somewhat recently, American Pharaoh and Justified.
But I think before that, it was before we were
Affirmed
born,
and Seattle
probably
Slew like in the late 70s. So like,
70s. Yeah,
I think 78 was the last one, so a year of our birth, but before we were born because we were born both in the fall and
yeah,
of 78.
yeah.
But um, yeah, so I think it was 2013, 2015, something like that was the first one, and then one.
Since the 70s. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Preakness will be what, in 2 more weeks?
yeah. Usually I think it's 3 weeks. So
Three
two,
weeks after the race.
3 weeks after the race. Yeah,
So it'll be 2 weeks plus a couple of days
yeah.
for when our recording
Hmm.
airs.
Yes,
Airs.
2 weeks and a couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe we can preview the Preakness a little bit since we missed the Kentucky Derby
yeah.
because we were focusing on the NFL draft and things like that last week, which we don't have going on for a while. We have a Major League Baseball draft coming up in a couple of months in July,
Right.
but that's our only um,
Upcoming draft of interest.
draft coming up. I guess we have the NBA draft coming up somewhat soon as well, but we won't. Probably. The NBA draft is right after the NBA finals usually, isn't it? Isn't it in June?
Yeah, I think so.
The NHL draft maybe as well. I saw the Toronto Maple Leafs won the NHL lottery. Maybe that's a good signal to transition into Major League to National Basketball Association and National Hockey League
Sure.
playoffs. We can cover the Chiefs in a little bit after we talk about the playoffs, but.
Sure.
So NHL has been somewhat interesting. All the tops. So the way the NHL does it, it divides the playoffs into kind of four little pods of one through four, and the one and fours play each other in the first round, and the twos and threes play each other in the first round, and all four series involving ones versus four, the one seed uh, won. But in all four seeds involving two versus three, the three seeds have won. So it's
Yes.
one versus three in all of the conference semifinals. Um, Only one Canadian team is left, and that's the Canadiens. Montreal defeated uh, two-time or recent champions Tampa Bay Lightning. They didn't win last couple of years, but they've won in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has. So the recent two-time defending champions, Florida Panthers, are not in the playoffs this year. But yeah. So what do you think of the Canadiens' chances to win Canada's first Stanley Cup in 33 years since the Canadians last won the Stanley Cup?
It's probably not great odds because they do play Buffalo, which is one of the better teams in the league so far. So uh, I don't know. I'm not expecting Montreal to win, but
Yeah.
still pulling for them though. Is that kind of
Yeah.
where you are on this too, or
Yeah. At least
or
they're
are
playing
you, are you
Buffalo, which is
placing your
a
bets on them right now? Yeah.
Well, they're playing Buffalo, which is a cold weather team at least.
Yeah, it's cold weather versus cold weather. You'd rather them face another weather team, though, wouldn't you?
No, you would rather that, but not me. I want the cold weather teams to win. It seems like cold weather teams at least are. It's going to be well. We have two cold weather teams in the West versus two warmer weather teams. Uh, the cold weather teams are playing each other, and the warm weather team is playing each other. The
Right.
Avalanche are leading the Wild, and the Golden Knights are playing the Ducks, and the Golden Knights are winning. Yeah, Golden Knights. The Ducks defeated the Edmonton Oilers, so they defeated a cold weather Canadian team. Um, in the East, at least, it's three cold weather teams and only one warm weather team, the Hurricanes. Although
Right.
it looks like the Hurricanes are going to defeat the Flyers. They're up 2-0 in their series over Philadelphia, but um,
Eh, they won the games they're supposed to win so far, so
yeah.
it's not really
And
a series yet, is it?
well, yeah, we can see what happens in game three, but we can
Yeah.
also see Philadelphia in the NBA was down 3-1, and came back to defeat the Boston Celtics 7 over the two seed in the Eastern Conference, which is the biggest upset so far in the NBA, both in terms of how it happened, but also the seedings. There's another six versus three in the Western Conference. Minnesota defeated. The Denver Nuggets as well. But other than that, it's been mostly top seeds winning. Um, anything stand out to you in the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I mean the biggest story I think so far, yeah, is yeah, Boston dropping out. But uh well, I think it was the first time that they'd lost a series after being up 3-1. It was Philadelphia's first win after being down 3 games to 1. So that was an unlikely scenario. But Boston had been playing really well during the regular season, but I think they had some injuries come back to bite them into the playoffs. That must have had some impact on them. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not too upset seeing Boston exit, but I'm okay with it.
yeah. And
Take
you said
time.
we went to Minnesota and this, as a six. They're actually up 1-0 over the Spurs, and so that's a interesting turn of events as well. So maybe they could go on a run. Of course, Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves is one of the best players in the league, so maybe he can help carry the team going farther than maybe you would think they would go, further than you would think they would go in the playoffs. But yeah, it looks like the Lakers are in the Thunder in game one, uh, and it's chalk in the other two Eastern Conference semifinals already. Game one has been completed, and the Pistons number one over the four Cavaliers, and the third seeded Knicks over the 76ers.
The
One.
Lakers Thunder game is like happening right now for us as we're recording this, and it's a tight game. So do you think the Lakers are going to make a run in this series, or is this going to be more just the Cavaliers running through another team on the way to their second
Uh,
championship in a row?
the Thunder, you mean?
Thunder,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I think the Lakers can make a game of because they have LeBron and um Luke, and they have uh
I think Luka's still out, isn't he?
if he's in it, is he still out?
I think he's still out. Yeah, he's not listed on the.
Well, that's even more impressive for the Lakers than to keep him in to for LeBron to carry that team so much, being his age. But
Yeah, so we're about midway through the third quarter right now, and yeah, LeBron is leading the team with 16 points.
yeah, Doncic isn't even listed as part of the roster.
Right. 16 points, zero rebounds though. That's surprising.
Yeah, this is just a quirk. Yeah, especially through three quarters.
Yeah, no boards. Like usually like some random ball ends up in your vicinity, right? Like just being on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody else. yeah, has gotten some rebounds, but yeah, it's a little um
Just an oddity, I think.
just a statistical quirk of the
Oh,
game. Um, but yeah, well, 71-65 right now in the third quarter. Very high scoring uh game so far. So,
yeah. Not a whole lot of defense being played apparently.
well, this game, I guess the way the NBA tempos have gone up over the last several years. So even in the playoffs, the playoff scoring is very high. Uh, I think the
Well, the three
Knicks,
point shooting is
yeah,
volume and success rate has gone up, I think, as a whole too.
yeah, I think the Knicks, I think they won their final game of the series. They scored 140 against uh the Hawks. They had 117 points through three quarters in Game 6 against the Hawks. So they really were. They had 83 at the half. So they were really putting up a lot of points.
They put up
Um,
137 in game one against Philadelphia. So
yeah, yeah,
they are a
high scoring team.
high score.
The Knicks were up 83 to 36 at the half against Atlanta in Game 6.
Wow.
It's the highest. That's the biggest margin of. They won by
That's like
51 points. So.
a college final score against a terrible team, right?
Mhm. Yeah, like a women's score almost. Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah. Yeah, 51 point margin of victory is something that you should not see in a playoff game, right?
Yeah, and they won, yeah, and they beat the 76ers by 39 last week. So maybe the Knicks are the team of destiny. Since they've been doing so well these last two games, averaging 138 and a half points per game the last two games. Uh, Not too bad.
If they can score that every game, like they're gonna have a shot.
Yeah. They will. That's like all-star. That's like all-star game scoring.
Basically, yeah. Wow.
Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens with the NBA. We'll see what happens with the NHL. They got so by the end of this, uh, by next week, we should at least probably maybe have some teams advancing to the conference finals. The rest of the uh, teams will be you'll shaping. You'll see. We'll see how those conference semifinal series are shaping up. But yeah, they're going going strong right now. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Do you still think it's Oklahoma City's uh, tournament to lose?
Yeah, well, I think they're still the favorites. So even though you don't really get momentum carrying over from one season to another when it's this deep into the year, but it seems like it's theirs to lose. But I think the Knicks will be interesting though to see how they handle it. We kind of
Yeah.
don't. I have a hard time rooting for them just because I don't know. It seems like Knicks, New York fans in general are more fun when they're
Mhm.
losing
Yeah,
than winning.
I don't think they've won since like 1970 or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah, because they never did win during
the Patrick
like the Patrick
Ewing,
Ewing era.
years,
Yeah,
Pat Riley era, yeah,
yeah,
on Starks, Anthony Mason, that period.
yeah. They had really good competitive teams for
Yeah, they made the finals a couple of times.
yeah.
They
They
lost to
always ran into somebody,
they lost to
right?
the
Like
Rockets when Charles Barkley and Olajuwon and Clyde
yeah.
Drexler, same team. Um,
Well, they
or
would
they
have had to face the Bulls a
both.
lot too. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Jordan. Yeah, so they had some good teams. Uh, they were part of that kind of slow it down, uh, sort of uh, beat each other up kind of era of the NBA. Uh,
yeah.
but that's kind of gone by the wayside most recently. But yeah, especially the way they're playing right now.
It's a
Um,
very hands-off defensively league now.
yeah, you have
Well, should we?
14 players scored points for the Knicks in the last game.
Yeah, that's basically their whole roster, isn't it? I mean, isn't that usually
Yeah,
what you field as a
yeah,
team, as an actual
yeah. Only one,
roster? Is like
one
a
player didn't play. Yeah, everyone
yeah,
who played scored at least 2 points. Um, and it seems like the players were taken out of that pretty early. So, um, yeah, the Knicks were cruising after, they were up 74 to 51 at the half, and then they, kept cruising from there. So, um, yeah, it wasn't like the starters were playing that much. Karl Anthony Towns only played 20 minutes.
yeah.
Brunson only played 31 minutes, and he played the most minutes of anybody on the team. So,
Wow.
and then the 76ers starters were even less time. 28 minutes was the most any of the players played. So, I guess they
Yeah,
guess they kind of knew what was happening that game pretty early, so they decided let's just let this one
punt on this one,
fall,
and
yeah, fall chips fall where they may. But yeah, we can move on. I think um, we want to move on to talking about a little bit about the Chiefs.
sure.
Uh, there hasn't been a whole lot of Chiefs news. They've been overshadowed by the Royals, fortunately, and Kansas City. In this week after the draft, they signed a couple of their draft picks already. But I guess the big news is that Patrick Mahomes is perhaps ahead of schedule when it comes to his rehab, and he may be a participant in the off-season mini camps that the Chiefs are going to have. Are you enthused by this development, or do you think is Mr. Mahomes, is he going a little too fast? Do you think they should slow down on his rehab, or is he just this is just the way he is, and he heals faster maybe than everybody else heals?
I mean, yeah, healing speed. I don't know for sure, but is like he has the mentality to go after whatever he's interested in, right? So it seemed like he was going to be aggressively going after his rehab, and seems like it's going well. So sounds like he's been throwing a bit on his own already, which is usually a good sign. Which means because I doubt he's doing a lot of throwing from like a seated position or something, right? You assume he's up and around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But we haven't seen it yet. But we'll get a chance to get a glimpse of that here in the next month or two, hopefully, uh, as like camps go on. But yeah, I think they said he was going to be participating in the OTAs, which you don't really know what that actually means because that's usually the OTAs aren't usually like full speed contact kind of things, which you don't want him participating in too much like that, but that's not what those are. So seems like it's encouraging, Mike. You want him to be ahead of schedule now so that so that hopefully he can like modulate that a bit as they get closer to the season. That seems to be the best way to handle it, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you do want to see Mahomes be in good shape, but you also kind of maybe want to make sure to see what you can get from Justin Fields as well. You probably want him
Yeah.
to get a lot of reps in training camp and in mini camp and the OTAs just to see what you've got there, but
Yeah.
also just maybe take the load off if he needs to from
Like
Mahomes early on in the season.
and you might be okay with him like covering the bulk of the first team snaps through the preseason, maybe even the
Yeah.
first couple of games, right? So like, I mean, I don't think there's any reason to make sure Mahomes is ready for week one, but it's great if he is, but it's okay if he's not too, right? Like this is the long season. We want him for as much of it as we can, but we don't need him to be there for the whole season, right?
Yeah, you have um yeah, it's a long season. But yeah, you want the Chiefs to at least be rounding into form as time goes on. But yeah, it's still very, we're still 4 months away from the beginning of the season. So
The
Um,
actual season.
the
Yeah.
actual season, early September is usually when it starts, and we're in early May right now, so we got 4 months to go. A long time.
When we finally don't have to play a first place schedule
Yeah,
this
we'll get
year.
a it'll be a third place schedule this year for the first time in a while. So that means that three of the teams the Chiefs are going to play are going to be third place teams from last year rather than first place teams from last year. So this will be the first time they'll play an NFC. They'll play an extra NFC opponent that's a third place team, and also two extra AFC opponents that are third place teams from last year. So um, yeah, three easier games, at least theoretically, at least.
Yes. Based on last year's finishes.
Yes. Yeah, so the
Although,
Chiefs will
yeah,
play.
I'm not sure I looked at who they actually have though. Yeah, so who do they get? Do you know who which teams those are?
I can't remember which divisions they play this year.
Yeah.
Um, so the third place teams were the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Colts, and the Chiefs last year. And then it'll be Commanders, Vikings, Falcons, or 49. I think they play the 49ers. So that's not a very easy third place team. Let's
Right.
see. I think that's who they play. Um,
Yeah, they're very different depending on who's injured at the time. So the
although
Chiefs.
they might play the 49ers because they're playing the AFC NFC West. I'm not sure what
Well, the
they
schedules
don't.
haven't technically been announced yet, have they?
Oh, have they not?
I'm not. Well, I think we know who they play or something like that, right? But not
Yeah.
necessarily what the weeks
We don't know
are.
what weeks they are. Yeah, they haven't announced the schedule. When's the schedule reveal? That's another uh NFL schedule release. When's that come out?
Mid to late
Mid-May
May.
usually. Okay.
So they know we know we play the three division teams, the Cardinals, Colts, Patriots, Jets, and 49ers at home. And then the Chiefs will also play the Bills, Dolphins, Seahawks, Bengals, Falcons, and Rams on the road.
Okay. I see the schedule release could be delayed by a week. I see on the uh
So they do play the NFC West. Yeah, all the NFC West teams are on there.
yeah, what was the other NFC team that they play?
The Cardinals.
Well,
Or
they're
no,
West.
oh no, sorry. Atlanta.
They play the Falcons. Okay. They were one of the top what they were tied for first place in the NFC South, but they were 8 and 9, and they ended up being in third place.
Yeah,
I guess the tiebreakers turned out, so they didn't get the easiest third place team by far, um, but yeah, it's not too bad.
yeah.
They play the Dolphins and
It looks like they get all the East teams from the AFC.
AFC East this year.
Yeah, Pats, Jets, Bills, Dolphins.
That'll be interesting. We'll see how the Patriots, I think, play with the first place schedule and against AFC West teams that have three strong opponents at least. So yeah, you will see if they're a for real team or just a kind of a blip from last year.
Yeah,
Because I think both of us thought that the Patriots weren't a very deserving Super Bowl team, and that's why we picked the Seahawks to roll in that game, and they ended up doing that. So we were um, right in predicting those games, but um, we'll see what happens next year. Hopefully, the Chiefs will be back in Super Bowl contention. Um,
what the tendency too, though, is right. The team that loses the Super Bowl frequently
tends to
does not make the playoffs the next season. Isn't that right?
happen with the Chiefs this last year. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's usually a big drop off from the team app, the Super Bowl loser.
Not it's not always, but that is the tendency, I think. from like at least
Yeah,
the recent trends. Yeah.
yeah. None of the Chiefs haven't won a Super Bowl in the season after they've lost the Super Bowl. They haven't done that yet. They haven't even made the Super Bowl in the season after they lost the Super Bowl. So,
Well, they went back to the playoffs.
and they were overtime away from it when they lost to the Bengals a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
but I think that them making the playoffs is actually a bit of an outlier
mhm,
compared to like what a lot, had been happening, I think, in the league the last like 15 or so years. There was like a
mhm.
tendency for, yeah, teams that lost Super Bowl would not even make the playoffs the next year. Anyway,
Yeah. So, well, um, speaking of teams that have lost and have been making comebacks, the Royals are now 17 and 19 on the season, only two games under 500. They are only one half game out of first place now in the AL Central. They're actually um, uh, there's a three-way tie for first between Detroit, Cleveland, and the White Sox. They're all each one game under 500, and the Royals are two games under 500. So, and then the Twins are only one and a half games back. So they're not. So every team is bunched within two games of one another in the AL Central. So there's the Royals' eight-game losing streak early on hasn't really cost them in terms of potential division potential division championship. So that's some good news, you think, for the Royals. And they've been playing well. They've won nine out of their last 11 games. They won again tonight against Cleveland 5-3. So what's been the secret of the Royals' success in the last 10, 11 games, Dr. Scaff?
some of it is just that there have been less shifting around of the lineup, and some of the players and have been performing a lot better, getting hits with guys on base. That was something that was terrible during their losing streak, where they had like an 0 for 25 or plus at bats, like with guys on base, guys in scoring position. Like they just weren't able to knock anybody in during that losing streak, and that sort of like averaged back out, I think, in this more recent stretch. Uh, but yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just like they're not tinkering as much with the lineup, and I think it's allowing that to like solidify a bit. And certain players like Jack Caglione have come on, and maybe some getting some more consistent at bats is helping him roll into a more consistent player then too, because he's been pretty good in the last couple of weeks. He's been hitting the ball really hard and had a couple of home
Hmm.
runs to show for it too. And
Even hit one on his bubblehead night and in the Sonic Slam inning. So
yeah, won some money for a fan.
yeah, a few $100 at least. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The Royals actually have had a Sonic Grand Slam. I'm still waiting for the inside the park Grand Slam to not count as
To
a
be to them say like, nope, you get nothing.
yeah, because you have to hit the ball out of the park for Sonic Slam, which I think is a
Right.
stupid uh caveat that's built in there. Like, are
Yeah,
they are they thinking that somehow the other team is going to be in on the
where the scorekeeper will be deciding if somebody wins money or not, if it's ruled a home
yeah, I
run
don't know
versus a
what
triple
they're
and an error or a single and an error, like a three base error.
yeah, I don't know what that the thinking is on why don't they allow inside the park home runs on the Sonic Slam
Yeah.
inning.
Well, realistically, it's much more rare to have an inside the park home run. An inside the park grand slam would be even like would have to be the rarest of the combinations of things. It should pay out a lot more, let alone how they have it now, where it would pay out nothing, right?
Yeah, the last inside the park grand slam was hit by the Blue Jays in 2022. The ball was lost in the lights by center fielder Jaron Duran, landing behind him and clearing the bases during a 28-5 win. So I guess maybe they think that that's going to be the grand slam. It's just going to be like somebody falls down and it's an easy hit Uh,
Yeah. It shouldn't really happen though. I mean, that's uncommon. I mean, like multiple things have to happen there for that to be the case, right? Something like because the other another outfielder has to like not be backing up the play
mhm.
while someone like yeah loses the ball in the lights or in the sun, something like that.
Yes.
But like multiple oddities have to happen for that to be the scenario.
Yeah. Do you know which former Royal holds the record for most inside the park home runs in a single game? He did not do it for the Royals, but he
Oh,
played for the Royals. He did it when he played for the Twins. He's most famous for playing for the Twins.
hmm,
You might remember him as one side of the infield that was former Twins that came over to the Royals in the early 90s.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
The two
Oh man, I don't know.
two double G players. We had Gary Gaetti come to the Royals, and Greg
Oh,
Gagne also came to the Royals. So this was Greg Gagne,
yeah.
one of 17 players to hit two inside the park home runs in a
In
season.
a
In the
single
National
game?
League, he's the most recent to hit two inside the park home runs in a season. And
Wow.
back in '6, um, in a career, uh, it seems like Jesse Burkett, whom I've never heard of, Jesse Crab Burkett, has hit the most inside the park home runs, 55 inside the park home runs. So he's hit the most.
What
He
when did he play?
1890
Yeah.
to 1905.
So that was in like the era where they didn't necessarily have outfield walls, I think, even then, right?
Mhm.
That was
Yeah. He's also regarded as one of the greatest bunters of all time. Uh,
was he
1946, he's in the Hall of Fame. Uh,
yeah.
but
I
yeah,
think
played.
I think there are still rules in the official rule book about, what happens if the ball rolls underneath a carriage, stuff like
Mm,
that, like that from the era when they didn't have an outfield wall because there wasn't a there was no distance
yes.
that didn't matter, right? So it's just like
Yeah.
ball goes however far it goes, you chase it down, you throw it back in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jesse Burkett has been. Yeah, he played most of his career for the largest part of his career for the Cleveland Spiders,
Yes.
who played for the St. Louis Perfectos, who became the St. Louis Cardinals. Uh, those
Yes.
St. Louis Cardinals were also once known as the St. Louis Browns. I didn't realize the St. Louis Cardinals were once known as the Browns.
Hmm.
I don't know what the St. Louis Browns were known as. Um, they were the Milwaukee Brewers at one point, original St. Louis Browns, and then they became the Brown. Yeah, I don't know. Then when they moved to St. Louis, they became the Browns in a to I guess maybe confuse people to think that they were the Cardinals because the Cardinals used to be known as the Browns. So with the Brown stockings,
So two different St. Louis teams have been called the Browns at
yeah, at various
different
points.
franchises have the
I
same
guess the
names.
Cardinals decided to change their colors to red instead of
Hmm.
brown. Uh,
Yeah.
although female Cardinals are kind of brownish, they aren't as bright red as the male
Right. They have like
Cardinals.
red like puffs. They're kind of
Yeah,
grayish. Yeah.
perfectos. But then yeah, Jesse Burkett, he finished playing for the Boston Americans, who became known as the Boston Red Sox before later. But
Yes.
but they were the Boston Americans for a while. And yeah, so we talked about was it last week or a few weeks ago? We were talking about the plural SOX
Hmm.
being a sort of gimmicky thing from the early 1900s. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so So, and talking about how someone was known as a Red Sox rather than a Red Sox officially
Yes.
by Major League Baseball,
Right.
which I think is still strange.
Do you like
But
referring to someone as a royal
yes, I
or a
think
royals?
George Brett was not a Royals. He was a former Royal. Uh,
Yes.
so I think the Red Sox, was not a former Red Sox, a former Red Sox player, but not a former Red Sox, I would say. I would say he's a former
Yeah.
Red. Carlton Fisk was a former Red Sox and a former White Sox. Uh, he played for both Sox teams.
Yeah.
A significant part of his career. He kind of split it between the Red Sox and the White Sox, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't sound right because it Sox SOX versus SOCKS.
Yes.
It sounds the same, but the A sock versus A socks sounds
Hmm.
terrible on the ear, doesn't it? Like a
It does. It does.
singular with a plural,
Hmm.
the article and the yeah, the noun, I guess. Yeah, in that case, yeah. It doesn't sound right.
It does not. It does not.
A sock. That's what it's supposed to be.
About
A
Carlton.
socks player.
Yeah,
That sounds okay, right?
it does.
Because you're back to the singular noun though, with the player instead of yeah.
Going back to Jesse Burkett, Jesse Burkett's nickname, he was known as Crab
Yeah,
because of his
you did mention that.
serious disposition and willingness to argue, fight, and insult sports writers, umpires, opposing players, and rookies. Crab
I
Burkett.
thought maybe it was like he had some like sideways run or something that he would do.
Yeah, it's like a crab. Yeah. I think he's a
that's
crabby,
that's that's kind of it went a
crabby
different
guy.
direction than what I was expecting.
He's just a crab. Yeah. Um,
But his demeanor rather than his running style.
yes. Crab Burkett.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, he has the most inside the park home runs of any player. Uh, in the National League, the record is in a single season, it is Sam Crawford with 12 inside the park home runs in 1901. Ty Cobb holds the American League record in both career and single season with 9 in 1909 and 46 home run inside the park home runs in his career. Um, so
Well, then by that era, there would have been a lot more data with outfield walls by then.
yeah, that was still the dead ball era, but yeah. So
Yes.
Jesse Burkett hit 75 home runs in his career. 55 were inside the Parkers.
Yeah.
Ty
My
Cobb
assumption
hit,
is that a lot of those were, without an outfield wall, so it would be they're just
yeah,
probably classified as inside the park, even though there was no defined park to be out
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. Ty Cobb hit 117 home runs, 46 of which were inside the park.
Yeah, so some of his career may have been before that
Mhm.
outfield wall being a consistent thing in every park. That is one of the kind of crazy things about baseball and how much like the rules have changed from like the beginning of it to now. It's quite a different game, isn't it?
Yes,
Do you prefer the past eras where there's sort of like the maybe not so in shape slovenly type players rather than now like the uber athletes that we had kind of have in today's era?
yeah. You missed the John Crooks and the Tony Gwynns and the uh, Cecil Fielders, the more rotund players. Rich
Yes.
Garza, uh, Sid Fernandez and the pitching staff. Yeah, El Guapo, Rich Garces. A few.
Yes. Like
Trying to think about
CC Sabathia is one of those guys that was big
Matthews.
during his playing career, but then he got like super fit like after he
Oh, did he?
finished his career. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
good.
he's like super slim and jacked now. It just seems like
Yeah, I
odd
don't like that.
odd time to
Yeah.
do that after your career is done, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I think, yeah, yeah. I think if you become famous as a fat person, you have to remain a fat person, I believe.
I mean,
Like
it's
Al
probably
Roker,
better
it's
for
weird.
his
Like Al
health that
Sharpton
he
and Al
did that.
Roker are skinny now, and um,
Yeah,
Rebel Wilson became skinny.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have to if you become famous as a fat or what's his
If Kevin James got to be like a superhero fitness level, would he cease to be Kevin James?
yes, I think he
Yeah.
can't have him as a skinny guy. Just like you can't, I think it's a problem that Jonah Hill has become skinny and jacked as well when he should be a kind of chubby
Yeah.
guy. I don't know if Jonah Hill's still skinny.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've seen him in much recently, but I don't. He was more of a movie guy than a TV guy, so I see a lot more TV than I see movies.
Yeah.
So I don't. If he's been in movies, I don't. That doesn't mean I would have seen him in anything because I don't watch that many movies.
Mhm.
No, he has not popped up in any TV shows that I've watched, though. I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in much of anything lately.
Yeah.
He's he's been cast as Jerry Garcia in a biopic of the Grateful Dead, directed by Martin Scorsese, but that was back in 2021 he was cast, so I don't know
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
um filmography. Yeah, he's been in not as much recently, in the last few years.
I mean, the last thing that I think I've seen him in was probably Moneyball, which was quite a while ago.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, he was in. Probably saw that.
I did see that. Not one of my favorites of any kind by
He was in.
any.
Yeah, he hasn't been quite as much stuff over
He's
the
in a
past 10.
2020 episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, we directed one of the Winning Time episodes, but yeah,
Yeah, it looks like he's done more like voice work recently than being in a lot of stuff.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any other any other thoughts on the Royals?
Well, I think it's been. I think you've said was the lineups have been very good. I think the starting pitching has also been very solid lately. Um, and I think the Royals are leading the league in your favorite stat, quality starts, which are starts that are at least 6 innings with three or fewer earned runs allowed in the
Yes,
innings. Um, but yeah, that's a quality start. It's one of
yes,
Randall Fever's favorite stats.
right.
But I think it was a it was a real stat for a while, the quality start.
It is technically a real stat, but it's less meaningful than most of the other stats. That I feel like if you're just looking for something to point to, like that is something that you can pull out, but it's not really that meaningful.
Do you know which pitcher has the most quality starts in his career
Ever?
ever?
Well, it's gonna be somebody that pitched a lot of games. Probably. Ooh,
I'll give you you want a hint?
I mean, I would go to Maddox would be my guess. Is that a
Greg
good
Maddux
hit?
is actually number three all time
Okay.
quality
Yeah,
starts, 480. He's only three behind the all time leader in quality
oh
starts.
wow. Well, so I mean, it's getting somebody that's thrown enough games. I mean, because I don't think that wasn't a stat unless they've gone back and retroactively assigned quality starts to players from the past. Is
That's
it
what
is
they've
it like
done.
is it like a pre 1980
He pitched into the 80s.
into the okay into the 80s? Hmm. No, I was gonna guess somebody a little bit later. I was gonna say like a Jamie Moyer type, somebody like that, but because he had the longevity to
Mhm.
do it. But
He
no,
did.
I don't know.
This was actually Don Sutton has the most,
Oh, yeah, see,
followed by
I
Nolan
wouldn't.
Ryan, then Greg Maddux, then Roger Clemens, Tom Seaver, Gaylord Perry, Steve Carlton, Phil Niekro, Tom Glavine, Tommy John, who's has the most quality starts of any non-Hall of Fame pitcher, other
Hmm.
than as Clemens is non-Hall of Fame as well, but he's only Clemens is non-Hall of Fame because of steroids rather than
Not
because
performance related.
yeah. And
Yes,
Burt
yes.
Blyleven is number 10 on that list. Um,
Was Moyer on there somewhere?
I don't. He's not in the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just see top 10 listed as in
Okay.
I'm just on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. The quality star.
The most quality starts in 1 year was held by Jack Chesbro for the 1904 New York Highlanders. He pitched 44 quality starts. He was 38-6 in those quality starts.
So that is something that they've, retroactively gone back and given.
Yeah, they have old box scores. They can go back and look at
Yeah.
all of them. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But
yes,
yeah, it's one of those weird stats though, because it's like, if a guy's already thrown 8 innings and he like has only given up 3 runs and then he, maybe walks somebody and then comes out and the relief pitcher allows that runner to score, then it's no longer a quality start, even though he went well over six. But now gives up the fourth run, not a quality
yeah,
start, Mike.
yeah, that doesn't count. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't.
It's one of those things
Or
where
it's a
it's
bit
like
it's a bit arbitrary.
it
The quality
is like
start.
it's not necessarily meaning that it led to a team's victory or even really gave them a chance to win,
Mhm.
but it just shows that they went deep enough into the game that in a vacuum the team should have had a chance to win, I guess, right?
Yes,
Because you can give up 3 runs, and if your team has scored none, then you're probably not really that competitive in that game. But it still counts. It's yeah, taking out of account anything that your team has done offensively. Yeah, it's a bit arbitrary.
a bit, but it's still something the Royals have done very well over the last. Uh, I think I think they also this is also they announced in the Royals broadcast there were 15 games in a row the Royals starts have gone at least 5 innings. So it seems like there haven't been any bad starts for a while for the Royals, and that's been another reason the Royals have been winning more games than they've been losing lately. So hopefully the Royals can keep that up going forward the rest of the season. So anything else you want to talk about with the Royals, or should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour?
Maybe just on an extension of what you were just saying, though. Today's game was even a spot starter called up from AAA. Stephen Kolek ended up coming in for Noah Cameron,
Mhm.
and managed to go 6 innings with a quality start. That's a good
One
sign
one
that
three
they,
run home run. Yeah.
yeah, but it's a good sign that the team did not go to like a bullpen game where they would have like lost that streak. Not that it's really that meaningful, but I'd much rather them see have them play an actual starter that has a chance to go deep into the game rather than blowing up their bullpen in the middle of a series. So that's a good sign that they're not trying to do something ridiculous.
Yes.
which is something that they've been doing the last several years with like scheduled bullpen days. They've got enough starters; they should be able to handle somebody missing a start here or there. So without having to, blow up the bullpen.
Yeah, yeah, they've done yeah they've been doing a good job of that. So, um, yeah, I think we've been doing a good job of not blowing up the bullpen here at the Warren Truck Power Hour. We haven't had to go to any relief pitchers for quite some time now. From the two starters who have started and completed every episode of the Power Hour since the origins of said Power Hour.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so we'll finish up another quality start and quality finish today. Hopefully, we'll have one of those as well. So, um, anything else you want to add, sir?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
All right. Uh, thank you for your for paying attention and getting this far into the Power Hour with us at the end. You've powered your way through another exciting episode. Next week we'll be back talking more about the MLB playoffs, MLB plus the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs. We'll talk about the MLB regular season with the Royals continuing. We'll talk about more about the NFL offseason. We might have a couple other stories to cover as well, but we'll see what those are next week. You'll have to wait and see if we have any other interesting and exciting tangents like inside the park home run trivia um, next week as well. So for those of you uh, who enjoyed our Jesse Burkett side trip. We may take another one in coming weeks as well. So that trip down memory lane, since I'm sure many of you remember Jesse Burkett, who last played in the majors in 1905.
It's like, who doesn't remember
100,
Jesse Bridget?
121 years ago.
The
Uh,
crap.
the crab. Yeah, he died, or he last played before probably any of our either of our grandparents were born. He had retired by that point, so that's how old Jesse Burkett is. He died though in 1953, so that's not too long ago.
Yes, within my parents'
My parents' lifetime.
lifespan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
um, anyway, we hope to keep going until the year 2053 at least here at the Orange Rack Power Hour. We'll see how that goes. If there are podcasts in 2053,
There's only one way to find out.
only one way to find out. So we'll be the only ones keeping it going probably. Uh, Whatever newfangled medium there is, we will keep up with the old fangled ones. But yeah, I digress, and we should wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour. As always, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Warning Track Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and or our podcast, which is available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one you're likely using right now. Um, we thank you for your listenership, your viewership, your patronage, and we wish you the best of luck this week if you're making any bets this weekend. There aren't really any big horse races going on this weekend, but you might be making bets on the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, or Major League Baseball, or maybe futures bets in some of the other sports coming up. We're also in I guess, the Champions League finals. At least one of the Champions League finalists has been determined. That was the um, Arsenal is in the Champions League final. They defeated Atletico Madrid. And then I think the next Champions League finalist will be determined tomorrow when uh, Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich get through playing. I think their first game was 5-5, I think, or 5-4. Was it 5-4, 5-5? I think it was 5-4. Paris PSG winning. But so we'll see what happens with that. If we're interested in uh, uh, UEFA Champions League, because I guess that's sort of a preview to the World Cup coming to our shores this summer. as well. We'll see what happens with that. So we have all that to look forward to. We'll probably focus mainly on the Royals and the Chiefs as we usually do, but we'll step off into other exciting territory as well. So, uh, from all of us here at the Warning Track Power Hour, we thank you for sticking with us, and as always, we wish you a good day.